Hi friends, Sam here with Happily Hooked. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a color change in a spiral, so in a continuous round. We've done some different color changes, but they were at the ends of rows or in the middle of rows, so they're a little bit different than when working in a continuous spiral. You don't want them to lean while you're doing it. Now sometimes they're still going to lean a little bit, but we don't want that like aggressive lean while we're making a spiral. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So I'm going to grab my yarn, grab my hook, and I'll be with you in just a second. Hi friends, when you look in the description below this video, there's going to be a link there that contains free patterns. Make sure you click that, check it out, and I'm so excited to see how you make them. Bye guys. Alright, so like I said, today's video is how to change color in the round. So I've got like this little circle and we've started making some rounds, and now this is in a spiral, so this is a continuous round. There are no joins on this at all. It's all in a continuous round. So I've got my stitch marker in, and this is where my first stitch of this round is, and then we've got our yarn here for the last stitch. So what you want to do is you'll take that last stitch out, because we're going to change colors before we start our next round. So it's the same that I've showed you guys before when you change colors to do like an invisible change. So you're going to go into your stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. And then before you finish this stitch is when you bring in your next color. So then you just yarn over and pull through for that next color. So we take our stitch marker out and we insert it into the next stitch, just like we're going to make a regular single crochet, and then we pull on our tail a little bit so it's not super loose, and we insert our stitch marker right back in. And then we can do a couple stitches with our new color depending on whatever the pattern says. And then we'll go into our last stitch and we'll grab our original color and finish the stitch off with that in the original color. And then we'll just continue crocheting around until we get back to the beginning, and then I'll show you how it looks. And we'll do it one more time. And this is a really fun trick for when you're making amigurumi and you want to color change, but you don't necessarily want that like jog and that line where it like part of a stitch starts and it just looks weird. So we got back to the beginning, and then we're going to just continue with this green, and then you'll be able to see how it looks. And see, you don't have, it's just a perfect little start. You don't have, like on this stitch over here, a line or anything like that. So it's just a nice solid color change. Now if we did it another way, let's go all the way back. So if we did it how you would normally think you would need to change colors, we would finish this row or this round, and then when we grab our new yarn to start our new stitch, you would insert in and pull up the yarn and pull through, but now the top of it is a completely different color. So when you crochet a couple more stitches in here, it's two separate colors on that stitch. So the V part, the stitch itself, is gray, but the top of it is green. And that's what creates that weird line when you're crocheting in the round and changing colors. So we would just go back and we just finish the last stitch in that round, even though we're not joining rounds or anything like that. We just finish that last stitch in the round and then start our next round. And that way, when we pull this down a little bit and pull this down a little bit, we've got a nice, even start, and it doesn't give that weird change to where it doesn't look straight or look normal. And it keeps it really pretty and really even. So that's why I like to color change. I color change like this for everything, not just when I'm working in the round. I color change for this when I'm working in like squares and dishcloths and things like that, because it just looks prettier to me. And you just keep going. Obviously, if this was for a real pattern, I would have put my stitch marker back in so I could keep track of where I was, but this is just to show you what it looks like. So it's nice and pretty, and it looks fantastic, and I love to color change like this. I forgot to tell you, this is the Red Heart Super Saver in Tea Leaf that I always use, and then this is just the Lion Brand Basic Stitch Anti-Pilling in the Charcoal Heather. I just had this on hand, so I grabbed it because you can see the difference. But yeah, so that's how you do color changes in a round, so there's not like an obnoxious line and it doesn't look really silly. So it looks really nice. Obviously at the beginning you'll be able to tell like where that color change ended because it isn't a round, but once it gets like stuffed and filled however you want, it kind of evens itself out so it blends together. But at least this change isn't super abrupt, and if you're doing just like a couple stitches, it looks really, really nice. Instead of just continuing it in the round, it looks super nice when you do it this way. So yeah, if you have any questions, just leave those in the comments below. I hope this helps out. It's also a really good way to start like socks and things like that. If you're doing like the toe one color and changing it to another, it's a nice way to change colors that way. But yeah, so I hope this helps. If you have any questions, just leave those in the comments below. There really isn't a way to make it not have any kind of line, and that's just the nature of crocheting in the round, unless you're doing joined rounds. If you're doing spiral continuous rounds, there's really not a way to prevent that. Joined rounds are pretty much going to be the only way to do that. So that's just another little tip. But yeah, if you have any other questions, leave those in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!